Hello, folks. Imagine spending over $2 billion on a single entertainment theater, a theater that may define entertainment for the rest of the 21st century. Today, we're breaking down the Sphere Entertainment Company, stock symbol SPHR, and learning how AI is helping to create this exciting investment opportunity. Here are the details. All right. So, first of all, leadership, we have James L. Dolan, okay, businessman. Background is in owner manager of the Madison Square Garden, okay. So if you know anything about Madison Square Garden, we're talking about marquee, um, venue for entertainment, for sports. New York City, it's a real world gem in terms of an entertainment, uh, experience. This company was kind of spun off from the Madison Square Garden business, and constellation. There's a whole constellation of businesses surrounding Madison Square Garden. So Sphere was actually incorporated and started under a Madison Square Garden kind of like entertainment spin-off company in 2020 and renamed Sphere Entertainment Company in 2023. Okay. And so here we'll understand a little bit more about why this happened. Okay. So this company actually has a relatively small, stable cash flow type of business called Madison Square Garden Networks that, for the most part, involves cable distribution of basketball games, baseball, stuff like that for the regional New York market. And this is a very standardized, kind of stable business. It's cable. Cable's subscription numbers are trailing down, so this is not really the exciting part of the company. The exciting part of the company is this completely new entertainment experience called Sphere. And the marquee location, the only location so far, the first location is in Las Vegas. So over here, and we'll look at this in a little bit more details, but it's this giant spherical theater type of experience where the inside is completely covered with LED display, and the outside is also completely covered in LED display, and 20,000 people per show, uh, concerts. The Eagles, I guess Backstreet Boys has done a residency there. Immersive films, and I'm highlighting the immersive films because I think this is the key driver for the business growth going forward. They have sporting events. I think there's like some sort of like a wrestling event or something like that was held there. All right. 516 feet in diameter. Okay, gigantic structure. World's largest interior and exterior LED display surface. $2.3 billion in construction costs. This was way, way over budget. For a while, it looked like a lot of people were saying this thing was never going to get even built, over double the original cost. But the reason that I think that this is understandable and completely expected is that you could look at this as it's like a prototype. Okay, this is the prototype for entertainment venue that is going to serve as a model, and they're learning from this and going forward. There's a lot of potential here. So if you look at this purely from a technology standpoint, you can say that, you know, semiconductor control, meaning computerized control of display, the production methods used in order to produce the content, like the movies and stuff like that, is based off of computers and AI. And then, of course, the display being LEDs. LEDs are semiconductor devices, and it's relatively new display technology compared to the old type of cathode ray tube displays. So, very, very modern in terms of if you analyze this from the big picture of a technology standpoint. If you look back through human history, the 100-year display tend trek technology trend is that 1920s we had, you know, movie theaters, flat screens, not very big, black and white. Sound was just becoming a thing. And then as we go forward, IMAX type films and curved type screen experiences began to be developed. I think Disney pioneered some of this stuff also in Orlando. The Sphere is taking that idea and going to the logical extreme. We're wrapping the visitor around in a 360-degree immersive experience. And this really amplifies the entertainment possibilities. Here are some pictures. As you can see here, the outside is a completely like high def display, and it's used for advertising purposes, and it kind of promotes itself. It creates a landmark in the city that it's in. So let's look at the financial aspect of this company. 2022 revenue, $600 million dollars, and then 2023, not much of an improvement. And then 2024, we have this jump up as the Sphere component of their business comes online and they begin to actually monetize the Sphere component of their business. The way to really look at what's happening right now is to look at the 2025 versus 2024 quarterly numbers, okay? In the most recent quarter that was released, Q3 of 2025, and subtracting out the cable network business, which is really can be ignored, you can see this massive year-over-year jump. It's about a 37% jump in their revenue. So something happened in Q3 of 2025, which is propelling this company up. And I believe this is the tipping point for the investment opportunity. The Wizard of Oz, okay? The Wizard of Oz. They've been alternating between having like live concert type of experience for people and having pre-recorded films. The original film that they were running last year was like a nature type of documentary film that was custom made for the Sphere. But in 2025 and September of 2025, as you can see in this chart where I've got it circled, they they premiered their Wizard of Oz movie. So what they did is they took the original classic Wizard of Oz film and basically they fed it into an AI and they enhanced the colors, okay? They used the AI to fill in information that would exist wrapping around the person in the theater. AI is really good at inference or inferring information. So if the pattern is that there's clouds up here, okay, then the AI understands that this is the sky and that the clouds in the sky needs to wrap around all the way around the person viewing the experience. So they work with Google DeepMind on this. And so by converting an old movie into a completely new entertainment type of experience, you can just recycle this old content, feed it into AI, and bam, you've got a completely repeatable, low variable cost. Okay, you just run the same movie over and over and over again, and it's just basically the cost of the electricity to display it. bringing in 20,000 people per show, about $100 per person for ticket costs. So it's pretty lucrative for every one of these shows. So this can be scaled. Now that they have this ability of converting old content into new with I think what's going to happen is that they're going to open up lots and lots of different locations around the world, and they'll be able to scale this content across their whole network of future spheres. I can imagine that maybe at some point they will take classic, G type rated films like Willy Wonka, the original Gene Wilder masterpiece from like 1970, and rework that for Sphere Entertainment. E.T., the Spielberg film, maybe even more like for adult-oriented, feature, action film like Jaws could be reworked. Imagine watching the movie Jaws and being completely surrounded by, the water and the shark and the feeling of being, you know, stalked by this animal, this shark in that movie. So here I have shown Google Trends. So if you search for Wizard of Oz sphere on Google Trends, you can see this jump up in in interest in Sphere that corresponds with the release of this movie. So here we have the stock price on Sphere is just kind of bumping along, pretty stable. The movie Wizard of Oz gets released, where they've taken this classic film and using AI to completely repurpose it. And then bam, the market is beginning to re-rate this company to see that, well, this has the potential of being scaled out as kind of like a worldwide type of entertainment experience, kind of like the IMAX theater as, chain type of business model. All right. So, as I mentioned, opportunities for future growth, more spheres. All right, more of these locations around the world. You can imagine, well, there's already been discussions of opening up one in Abu Dhabi, okay, over in Middle East. And I think that South Korea, Saudi Arabia, London, Shanghai, these types of locations would be ideal for future spheres to be located. You can imagine maybe a slightly scaled down version or mid-sized type of spheres in cities like Orlando, Austin, Paris, Tokyo, Sydney, etc. So, economies of scale is working to their advantage. I mean, once you have invested the money into modifying these old films and converting it into the Sphere wraparound 360-degree immersive experience, then you just distribute that over all the other locations. I think that because the very first one can be thought of as a prototype, and prototypes are hard because you're climbing this massive learning curve of trying to figure out like how do we build this thing. I think that as they build more spheres, there's going to be a lot of standardization in the construction methods and batch, processing of like the steel work and stuff like that, and that will drive down in a sense, the construction costs. And if there's 1,800 IMAX theaters around the world right now, I don't see any reason why there couldn't be 100 of these sphere types of venues around the world. Okay? So, this is what I would consider to be the investment opportunity. Now, I only have a very small portion of my portfolio in SPHR, and it's part of this kind of side almost type of investment bet that I'm making, and I described in my video on consumer stocks in 2026, and that is that I think that we're going to see some fiscal stimulus, some monetary stimulus go into the economy in this year, and that is going to a disproportionate amount of that is going to go into discretionary type spending. The discretionary consumer stocks have not performed well over the past year compared to the Mag 7, the big technology type companies. And there's just one other data point that's coming in right now that I think is going to help put more disposable income in people's pockets, and that is that with the invasion of Venezuela, there's kind of the possibility, a very strong possibility, that we're going to see their oil assets be, in a sense, unlocked and released into the market, which is going to drive down the world market price for oil. That means lower gas prices. Lower gas prices means there's a little bit more money left over in people's pockets. And so, you know, I'm not looking at this through the lens of politics or at all. I'm just saying, okay, this is the reality is that Venezuela's got some of the largest oil reserves in the world. And there's American infrastructure companies like, Chevron, et cetera, that already have infrastructure set up, and they it could release a lot of oil and drive down prices. So there's kind of it's a macro type bet. Um, and my exit strategy is actually only holding this for about maybe 5 or 6 months. Okay. I think that the 2026 quarterly results that are going to come in that compare the pre-Oz to the, a Sphere to Oz, the numbers are going to look really good for the first and second quarter for Sphere. And so the comparables are going to look good. I think the disposable income type thing is going to play into their favor. So I'm looking for maybe it's like $93 a share right now. I'm thinking maybe 120, $125 a share by May or June of this year would be my target for this price. And then that's the point where I would be exiting. So very small portion of my portfolio, and it's not something that I'm planning on holding long term, but it is, I think, more of a short-term, interesting investment opportunity. So once again, this is, this is a really one of a kind type of company. This is top of funnel. So I just wanted to put this video together to have you aware that this company exists and to give you a little bit of background on this. And as always, you need to talk this type of investment over with your own financial advisor, and see if Sphere, SPHR, is something that fits in with your investment portfolio. So, anyways, thanks for watching. This has been Top of Funnel, and until next time, take care, everybody.